Bengals Ravens Part 2. We'll talk about this coming up next on the Cincinnati Podcast.
Coming up on
The Cincinnati Podcast.
Hello, world. Cincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.
Welcome to the Cincinnati Podcast. I'm Ace, he is Zim, and we are recording this live at 7:50 on a Wednesday, getting ready to preview the upcoming matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, Part 2. As you guys know, Bengals won the first one in Baltimore on Thanksgiving. Seemed like forever ago now, like it literally just happened. But we got a couple things to talk about outside of that. Joe Burrow also had a pretty interesting press conference today, so we'll get into some of that as well. But before we get into anything, partner, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just navigating this Bengal thing. You know what I mean? It's just the life of a Bengals fan. Me and you had a good conversation earlier, and it's just like navigating through it all, man. Like everybody, man, I don't know. every time that there's a inclination that anything could just go a little wrong, it's just the absolute worst, and I'm just so tired of that. And I think the only cure for that is winning. So seeing is believing. I know a lot of people, like, after a while, like, it ain't but so much you could tell somebody. But the Bengals haven't won a home game since week 2. Yeah. So we've just gone through a whole season of not even seeing our team. You know what I mean? So a team with Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase. So, man, it is what it is. This has not been that type of season that I definitely thought it would be.
Nah, for sure. And it's been filled with some ups and downs. It's been, a rocky season this season. So I'm gonna get a couple of these quotes pulled up for Joe Burrow, because that's what everybody's talking about right now. And he kind of talked about the hardships of what his body's been through. He's kind of talked about, just his mindset on everything. Today's actually his birthday, so happy birthday, Joe Burrow. But there was one comment that stuck out more than some of the others, and a lot of people were wondering, okay, what's going on? And this stemmed from him saying, if I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot. If it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? That is the mindset that I'm trying to bring to the table. And then there were some follow-up questions a little later where he was kind of asked, about his future. And he said that he was dealing with a lot of things. He had a lot of things going on in both his professional and personal life, and that he needed to focus on despite having a tough season. So those quotes, I think, kind of had people, taken back a little bit, because the tone that he kind of used in this one, I think I even saw something Mark Slaughter has said, he's done thousands of press conferences and stuff like that with Joe Burrow. And he was like, this was a little different. It was a little different from a behavior aspect from that standpoint. What were your thoughts on just like yourself from taking those quotes that you've heard and just some of the clips that we've also posted on the Cincinnati Pod Twitter?
I thought for the most part, I was telling you this on the phone too. I think he was being very transparent, which we all want athletes to do. I don't know if Bengals fans want our players to be transparent, because I feel like any of the ones that speak up just a little bit, like everybody's like kind of out on them. But I think the transparency and the human factor in it, I think is dope. I think that's why I rock with 9 for real. Like, I don't think that other athletes get up there and disclose that type of information, and that's what comes with it. And I think he was being reflective on his birthday, and when you're not winning, you start to lose confidence in certain things, and that doesn't mean your ability to go win. I think that his confidence in the overall situation, in the confidence that when he came out and he said, like him not playing in the Patriots game, it probably was not a big deal to him at that point. And it wasn't, Zach made that call, right? But I think when he probably came back, he probably like, man, I'm out to run the table. And when it doesn't happen, you start to be reflective on it, because I'm guilty of that every single week with the Bengals, right? For the most part, I think the Bengals are I still think our roster's better than a lot of people. I just think that the Bengals have a losing culture right now. So when they get into tight games, they lose and they figure out ways to lose them. And I think that like a lot of stuff gets overblown, but I think he was just really, really reflective on what's going on in the current right now. The disappointment of, he probably talks to Trey all the time. The disappointment of Trey Hendrickson not being there to alleviate some of that. Like, nobody thinks that Trey Hendrickson from our fan base and others don't think that, Trey Hendrickson has an impact on this team. I think the whole defense is structured around him on third down. Like, it's not it's not a high octane defense. It's a defense set up to make plays on the back end with playmakers like Battle and Stone and Trey Hendrickson forcing you to do some stuff on third down. I think that a lot of people in general see stuff when somebody doesn't say directly what they're saying, that they start to project what they're thinking. So what I see on the internet is a lot of people projecting the worst case scenario, or projecting what they think is the absolute worst scenario that could happen. It could be a Ravens fan, it could be a Steelers fan, it could be a Bengals fan. But to me, I don't look at it like that. I thought he was just being transparent, and he's probably very disappointed in losing. And because he's such a stand-up guy, he's not going to be on the sideline throwing his helmet. He's not going to do whatever. He's going to hug it out, even afterwards, hug it out with Josh Allen. And you're like, man, that's a great guy. But inside, he's probably like, bro, I'm tired of losing. And I don't think that means like he's on his way out. But in the current December 10th, I know for a fact when he did the Netflix special and he was watching and saying, damn, like we could get in the playoffs, and then he didn't get in. He never thought the 2025 season would look any bit like this. And that's got to be crushing for someone. And I don't think that means he's blaming anyone. I think a lot of people are saying like, yeah, fire this guy. Like, I think he's looking at it like a normal person is saying, like, bro, like, how did Trey Hendrickson, how did that go that way? Like, how did that, how did all these things not go in our favor? Like, why did I throw that throw? Like, and on your birthday, you generally reflect. And I think that's what he was doing.
Yeah, I think he could have been reflecting. I also think he could have been possibly sending the Bengals front office a message of some sorts, because Joe Burrow does everything and he picks his words wisely and he picks certain moments to do certain things. And I kind of took away from it, like, is this Joe Burrow saying that this last 3 years hasn't been up to standard? And is he signing up for, I think, the same thing next year? I would think that based off of what he said today, if that is how he really felt, I don't know what that means in terms of what the Bengals are doing forward from a coaching perspective, from a front office perspective. I think he wants some sort of change. And I'm not sure what that change is. A lot of people are talking about like the retirement thing. I don't think that he's trying to retire, because the quote that he was giving before that, he said something about like he wants to win. So I think it's, you don't want to, if you wanted to retire, you don't care about winning or losing or anything like that. So what I took from it is Joe just hasn't felt like the last 3 seasons have been up to his standard, which is understandable. You're coming off of a Super Bowl, you're coming off of AFC back-to-back championships. So I think when he sits here and he reflects now, it's like, man, we got all of the players that I wanted on offense. Jamar's here, T's here, and we're not where we need to be at. And so it's going to be interesting over these next couple of weeks to see how it goes. But he has some other interesting quotes in there too. I found one of them, and it was like, it was about the playoffs, and he was like, "We're not worried about the playoffs right now. We got to take things week by week. We got to, just try to win these games that we have right now." And it's almost like the playoffs are on our fingertips as it stands right now. So it seems like he's definitely doesn't like where we're at this standpoint, which nobody should. I mean, at this record mark, but I think he just knows, especially in that game that we have versus the Bills, this team is a team that can compete with these teams that are in the AFC right now. And it's kind of a wide open situation. And unfortunately, since Joe went out and they were only able to win one game during that period, now they're kind of on the outside looking in. And I think it's starting to settle in, like Zim said. Whereas when you saw him rushing to get back, there was this sense of urgency for him to come back and just think that the Bengals were going to run the table. And I don't doubt him for feeling like that, because I felt the same way. If we can run the table and we can get in, this team can get right back to
we all
where
felt
they're
that
at.
way.
Everybody felt that way.
For
So
the
I
most
think
part.
reflecting now, like, damn, this might be a possibility where we're possibly staring down 3 consecutive years of, injuries, this and that, but also not only outside of that, not making the playoffs. I think that's where the dissatisfaction is coming from Burrow. And I think we'll hear more over the weeks. And to me, I think somebody on Twitter had put it this way. I don't think that he's a type of player that will come out and throw a Duke Tobin or a Zach Taylor under the bus directly. Like, he's not going to come out and name drop them or speak against them, but you have to watch some of the moves that he's making. So it'll be interesting to see over the next couple of weeks, is he going to deliver any kind of messages to the media? We've seen him deliver messages in the past with T. Higgins. We've seen it with certain players like Trey Hendrickson, where he's going on shows and campaigning for the Bengals to keep these guys and kind of speaking to the front office through the media. We'll see how this transpires. But as it stands right now, the Bengals have a game to focus on. We talked a little bit about, we didn't get to talk a little bit about Trey Hendrickson. So I wanted to kind of bring that up as well, in terms of the decision is now he's getting surgery. His season is over. What are your thoughts on the Trey Hendrickson situation and how that looks? And then after that, I want to get into the return, because that opens up the door for Shamar Stewart to get back. But what are your thoughts on Trey Hendrickson?
Just overall right now at this very moment, I think it's very unfortunate that Trey Hendrickson in the window, I'm gonna try to make it as short as possible. In the window that when a team decides, okay, are we gonna put you on IR or not? In that window, it's understood that if I don't get this right within the next 4 weeks, then I should have got IR. And so the initial thing of him maybe reporting it was a back, right? And then maybe the next week it was like a pelvis or something like that, right? I think right then and there, that's when the specialists and everybody should have came in and said, yeah, we're not waiting for this to heal. Something's bigger than that. And I was saying that then, but the understanding that I felt was that, well, obviously Trey knows that if he doesn't give it a go in the next 4 weeks, then we should have put him on IR, because that's a roster spot. And I just think that maybe it was mismanaged or misdiagnosed at the beginning. But I think after week 2 or 3, I think that was very clear that something else was bigger. And the reason why that's important now, because that was like 7 weeks ago now, I think. Like, I don't know when the Jets game. So if he had a surgery, think about what's the surgery timeline. It says 6 weeks. So you might have had a Trey Hendrickson maybe as early as last week if they had just done that properly. Why is that important? $30 million. You could feel however you feel about Trey should have got short term or long term. I don't know. Once he accepts the $30 million, just like any other business transaction in any country, I give you $30 million, I give you $30, give me my goods. You know what I mean? And it's very unfortunate it didn't work out. I was telling Ace this earlier on the phone. I think the writing's on the wall for the situation to a certain extent. And I think that that's the part that makes me mad is that this dude is, I don't think people are understanding how important he is for our defense. And I get it. All teams have got to deal with injuries. Just the one thing that I will say that I got a million things I think the Bengals did wrong, but too much I think is on Trey Hendrickson to go and produce sacks, right? Because before the season, you're expecting Osai to take a leap and you're expecting Myles Murphy to take a leap. And what that signals to me is that this plan better involve Trey. And when it doesn't, then I think people are losing sight of it's two different conversations. Two things can be true. The front office didn't do enough. You could say that's not a hindsight conversation. And then you also have to be real and say Trey Hendrickson playing the rest of the Jets game, they win. Trey Hendrickson playing that Bears game, they win. Trey Hendrickson maybe playing that Steelers game, we're 13-9. Flacco throws the pick six, Steelers offensive track. I think Trey Hendrickson playing that game. I think he contributes. Maybe they don't win. I don't know. But I think you're able to outline and say how this season could have been different. And the disappointing fact of the matter is because we're Bengals fans and because things don't go in our favor, when things don't go in our favor, there's nobody on TV telling millions of people that, hey, y'all know Trey Hendrickson is hurt. Nobody's even going to mention it. There's whole segments about Lamar Jackson possibly being hurt, but they're not making whole segments about Joe Burrow playing with a whole lacerated looking toe. You know what I mean? Like you don't get that. You're online trying to figure out how DJ Turner is going to get in a Pro Bowl, like playing at an absurd level. Amarius Mims playing at an absurd level. We're trying to figure out how to get these guys to Pro Bowls. And I think that those are the things that get kind of lost in the sauce for me is like these teams that we're playing like the Bills, Gregory Rousseau, who, I mean, he's getting paid $20 million long term, hasn't had a sack in over a month. Esperanza and all these, like them dudes are not good. You know what I mean? Like they're not that good to me. And what I think is that because when we don't win and the fine line of losing and winning is so small, everything comes crashing down. And Trey Hendrickson is a big part of that.
No, for sure. For sure. I think, like you said, you put it perfectly, so I don't need to expound on it. I think we'll see what happens with that situation. But now Shamar Stewart is scheduled to return with Trey being out of the picture, getting the surgery. So now we get to see, Shamar Stewart. Obviously, it's been an underwhelming rookie season, and he kind of spoke to that today. We'll see what we have, though. I mean, even though, it's been underwhelming, I think Shamar can really build on these next couple of games to try to, show what potentially the future can do, right? I think about the first week, we talked about those flashes. If he can build on those, hopefully we'll see it in this game. They're going to need him, right? Because Joseph Osai and Myles Murphy have been holding it down. You got to see what Shamar can do to add to that. So I think that's what we're going to be in. Obviously, we're in evaluation mode, but this is a Ravens offensive line that has, been able to be beat, especially if you're talking about the interior of the offensive line. That's been a weakness outside of Linderbaum, right? And they haven't been able to protect Lamar. So it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do. I hope that he suits up. I know that some people said that there's some boxes that he has to check before fully being able to come back. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I ain't counting on Shamar to do it. I honestly, I think Shamar will come in this game.
Yeah, I don't think he's
10,
on like
10, 18 snaps at most. Yeah. 18 will be like pushing it.
Do you think he can get some pressures? Do you think like, I'm not a pressures guy, but you don't even think he can come in and do that?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like he's a project. Yeah. The one thing I will say, I get it. People aren't gonna like this, like dude going off like about whatever. And me and you talked about this a couple of weeks ago. There's not that many teams that could say that they have a first round edge guy as a rotational piece. right? That's what he's supposed to be. But because of Trey being out, he's now thrust into a situation where now we're expecting more. And I get it. That's the way the cookie crumbles and injuries happen. But to me, I don't know that many teams that have 2 first-round edges that are like kind of rotational. Miles Murphy and Shamar Stewart are first-round edges that are part of a rotation before the season. Like they're not supposed to be those guys. Trey Hendrickson and Osai were both paid to be the guys that are going on third down. So my expectation levels of them are a little bit lower. And then you got guys like that you still kind of believe in, like I said, Johnson, that haven't really done, much of anything since he come back either. Those are things that I just think that get lost in the sauce too. Is like that's how you can't wait for something not to work to then say, I hate that. You know what I mean? And I think that's, to me, that's why we have the show. And before the season, I think I'm probably on record saying, I think bro probably gets like 2 sacks. But I was like, I think he'll get a lot of batted passes, stuff like that. I'm just not expecting to do that. And that's a flaw of the Bengals with the depth right now. It's like they don't have another guy that you can count on to give you consistent pressure. And when you look at the state of the NFL, what was it, guys like Ojulari that we were talking about getting? Nobody's giving up edges like that. You know what I mean? So that's my expectation. My expectation is people don't come into this game like Osai doing these stupid spin moves against Josh Allen when all you need to do is contain. Like play contain, play your role, do your role, cage him in. If one guy goes to go shoot to the quarterback, then the other guy better loop around to make sure that he has his back. Anybody else beyond doing anything other than that, big mistake. As we and you just looked at, you talked about it. I just talked about it on the show. I was at Lamar looked fast to me. He looked fast last week. I don't know what they talking about. Dude looked fast to me. Like, I'm not buying no injury stuff. I think he's in his head. Maybe he needs to stop skipping his Wednesday practices and get some reps. But he looked fast as hell to me.
No, for sure. So that's gonna bring us into the matchup is Cincinnati versus Baltimore. In Cincinnati, somehow Baltimore, it looks like, is favored in this one by 2.5 points. But they're coming to the jungle. I'm like you said, bro, like this Ravens team looks like they're ready to quit. I'm not gonna lie. Like the vibes that I've been getting from this team. I mean, to think of even about the Steelers game, like if there was any game for them to get up for, you would think like right after the Bengals punched them in the mouth, beat them in their own stadium on Thanksgiving, there's no way that they're just going to come out and not put up a fight against the Steelers. I think early on in that game, they didn't really put up a fight against the Steelers. Steelers looked like a team that was trying to win that game. The Ravens did not come out, I feel like, with that effort. And I wonder, if they don't get up for that game, do they get up for this game in Cincinnati? I don't know. I truly don't know. And I feel like the Bengals, even though we lost the Bills game, like the Bengals were ready in that game, right? And I think that obviously this is our last chance. Like you're down to literally your last opportunity to try to get into the playoffs, and your chances are super slim. We're talking to 1 to 5%. But the one thing that you have to be able to do, and that this part was always key, was that you had to sweep the Ravens to keep those playoff hopes alive. So I feel like the Bengals are going to be ready for them. I think Joe Burrow, wants to win. He doesn't want to end this season on a losing streak or anything like that. And I think that they, from a competitive standpoint, they would love to still sweep the Ravens. I'm not saying that that's, what the standard is, but they don't like the Ravens. These two teams don't like each other. And regardless of where the season has gone, I don't think like Burrow's not looking at this one and saying, like, I'm trying to sweep the Ravens. I think Jamar's trying to sweep the Ravens. I think T's trying to sweep the Ravens. So when I look at it from that standpoint, I think the Bengals would love to sweep the Ravens in this one. I'm gonna toss it to you because I need to take a quick break, real quick, but I'm gonna come back. But just talk about
you pulling a Lamar?
this Ravens,
You pulling a Lamar Baffert break?
this Ravens defense.
What you
Hey,
been
this 75 hard challenge is getting your boy.
Hey, bro, you been eating that Lamar, that Caribbean truck food or something like that, bro. Got a little tummy, got the rumbling. We're at that portion of the season, my beautiful people. Yeah, man. I think that the game plan has to be. I think the game plan has to be defensively. Cage Lamar in these spots. Make sure that you contain him in the pocket. Get out on the lead with Joe Burrow offensively, so that the defense can kind of dictate what they want to do in this game. Because that team with a lead is not what you want to do on a bad, defense like the Bengals. I think you got to make sure that you get out offensively in a little bit of a hurry, and then once you do that, then you get Derrick Henry off the field. And then from that point, I'm taking DJ Turner.
I did not pull a Lamar, bro. I did not pull a Lamar.
Hey, somebody got to give me the AI video of Ace's head on Lamar running.
Nah, that was not. That was not. Nah. So
that was quick. That was quick, though.
Completely unrelated, and not to cut Zim off from giving his take, but personal thing here. I'm doing this 75-day, whatever, 75 hard challenge. And I told them the hardest part of the challenge isn't working out twice. It's not reading the 10 pages. The hardest part, bro, is the gallon of water a day, bro. It is insane. I know Zim's not a big water guy. That's the hardest part, bro. It's not working out twice. It's not doing all of that stuff. It's the gallon of water thing. But continue, my brother. Talk to me about this Ravens matchup.
Yeah, I mean that overall, I do not trust this defense against tight ends. I think Likely is currently auditioning for his next team. Since they gave Andrews the bag, bro had 95 yards on us 2 weeks ago. That is the type of dude that will kill these linebackers. These linebackers have no awareness whatsoever in any portion of the game. Even on the Josh Allen, I don't want to talk about that game. The awareness levels are very low. And that's the part I talked about earlier in this. I feel like it's a culture of losing right now. You have a coach that is saying the same statements that he probably was saying to them 2-3 years ago, thinking that that's somehow whatever. But honestly, to me, I've always felt like the players had to step up in a lot of these moments. 2021, I think 2022 is a really good assembled team, but that's neither here or there. For the most part, I just feel like that message is not hitting. And what happens is in these tight games, you're seeing a Joe Burrow pick, or you're seeing the hit on Loveland from the Bears in a crunch moment, right? Those are all these games have the same thing of folding, choking in these moments based off a losing culture. So all the stuff that happened before is all over. Like this, the window closed when Joe Burrow hurt his wrist, and then the new window opened up. And now it's like nobody's really reassured in those moments, even when they're up 14-3. You know what I mean? So that's what scares me about the linebackers on these tight ends. And I just they don't have an answer for it. I don't care what Al Golden's talking about. They don't have an answer for it. And the messed up part about it is we played a guy last week that was nails, that was killing us. Shaq Thompson, UDF, a dude that just found off the street. That was out there actually playing linebacker play the way that you're supposed to play it. And there's a bunch of guys out there. You know the dude Bentley that used to wear the long sleeves for the Pats? I know everybody know who I'm talking about. That's a linebacker that's still available, that's out there right now. And I get it. And he's still kind of young. There's a couple of them. Devontae Campbell, they used to play for the 49ers. There's a bunch of guys out there that at this juncture and watching those linebackers play like they had played, even if you move on from Logan Wilson, cool. You want to roll, all right, peace out, like whatever. I'm not tripping. Even after that, you still gotta have somebody outside of Oren Burks is really a special teamer. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta have somebody else out there. I guess Shaka Hayward's maybe possibly coming back, like this week, I guess. But I just think that the negligence on that part to not even go get one of those guys, like, bro, after when we went to the bye, guys like Bentley and all them dudes should have been warm, like they should have been getting worked out, like by the Bengals at that point, and they never were. They're just gonna just get cooked every single week, and then you're just asking Joe to just drop instead of 32 like we did last week, right? We're gonna be talking about his 2 picks. He got dropped 40. Yeah, I don't. Do you think that the Bengals are going to keep this team to 12 points like they did on Thanksgiving, or
I don't think they'll keep them to 12 points, but I don't feel like the Bengals, and people are going to smoke me for this, and they're going to kill me in the comments. I don't think that the Bengals defense is really that bad, man. I know, like, and when I say that bad, I think based off of where they were at before the bye. I don't think that they're as bad as they were before the bye. Like, I think that they can cause turnover. And I've always said this, like, they're a unit that thrives off of turnovers, right? They need those turnovers to help assist them. I kind of went back. I don't want to talk too much about the Buffalo game, but I was talking to you earlier, and I think the way that I look at it, and I think that a lot of people, and I've said this on the AFC North Talk as well, like, you have to take into account that they were going against last year's MVP. Like, to me, I will always take Burrow at the top, but right after that, it's going to be Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. And so you're still talking about an elite quarterback. And for them to still, I know we are upset because they converted so much on 4th down, but think about how many times that they had to go for it on 4th down. That is because the defense was playing solid enough for them to be able to do it. Now, if I had to compare it, just look at what Josh Allen did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers gave no resistance whatsoever in that game. Josh Allen was just able to go up and down the field. He had 6 touchdowns in that game. He had 44 points. There was no resistance. The Bengals in this game, in the last game, when you look at the quarters that were scores and stuff that happened, they held Josh Allen in that offense to 18 points for 3 quarters. It really was the 4th quarter that really did them in, where they had 21 points. Well, guess what? One of those was the pick 6. The other was the interception in the red zone area. So that's 14 points there that they gave up, where the field position was already beneficial to the Bills anyway. And the biggest mistake that they made in that last quarter was the 40-yard Josh Allen run for a touchdown. So this defense, like, you got to remember, they made the James Cook fumble play. That took points off of the board. So, like, I don't think that the defense is bad as it was, where they're just allowing people to just go up and down the field on them. And I think for somebody like Lamar in this offense, like, the Ravens offense has been struggling lately. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to have 12 points, but I think
the
that
Bills' offense was struggling coming into that game.
Sure, but as I mentioned, they had the Buccaneers game a few weeks before that where they dropped 44 on them. So, like, I don't see the Ravens right now as an offense that is better than the Bills at this standpoint. I don't think that they're a top offense, which is in the past they have been. But I think that's why people were like, "Oh, is Lamar hurt?" and all of this, because their offense hasn't looked like it normally has. Derrick Henry hasn't been dominant lately. So I think, like, I'm not saying we're gonna destroy them or like be this elite defense against them, but I think that they could hold them to 24 points. Like, I think if you hold a team like the Ravens to 22 to 24 points, which is used to being a team that can score 30, I think that'll be enough. But they gotta get the turnover. Like, if they can't get the turnover, this team just doesn't have those moves. And it'll be interesting too, because the Bills went for it on 4th down, and you got to do that when you're going against Burrow. Is that something that the Ravens are going to do? Because Harbaugh has had these weird things with going for it on 4th down, and sometimes they're not successful. So that could actually play into our defensive hands if they are able to make those stops. Because, like, Josh Allen is making, like, I would love to see the probability percentage from Next Gen Stats on that throw that he had scrambling out and everybody's covered, and he just finds the guy in that split second. Like I don't think that's a very likely play that Lamar's gonna be able to make.
I'm gonna try to remember all this. I gotta give pushback on a bunch of these.
Go ahead.
For one, this is the one thing about the Ravens to me. This might be a crazy hot take. I think the Ravens offense is literally just as dynamic as it's always been, but the difference is the defense up front is ass. So they're not used to not controlling time of possession, not used to being in control. So to your point, the offense probably isn't as potent, but the same guys, like if we get in a close game with them, they're going to kill us with the tight ends. Like they're going to, the reason why we blew, the reason why we were even close with them in Thanksgiving is because, yes, the defense was cooking. Murphy and the boys was cooking. I thought that Lamar was a little bit less reluctant to run a little bit, I think, in that game. Also, maybe he wasn't 100%. I don't know. But I also feel like we got out on him. When you get out on them, which we hadn't done. Remember, we talked about this before the season even started.
Right.
If you could get out on the Ravens, they're chopped liver to me, because at that point nobody's scared of them running. Like you'd be like, all right, bet, run and just run the clock out. Cool. This is the thing about the defense, and this is what makes them a bad defense. The reason why they're a bad defense isn't numbers based. It isn't totality based. Like it isn't a cumulative thing as far as like stats go. And this was what happened last year. The offense was very responsible for the Bills' loss. I will definitely concede and tell you that. Like I think, like rewatching that, I'm like, bro, even the 2 3 and outs, like I get it. Somebody's gonna be like, what is he got to play perfect? I ain't saying you got to play perfect, but when you have full control of the game, you can't fold at those spots and you can't give them the ball back in those spots. You at least have to run the ball and take some time off the clock. 3 and out real quick. You know what I mean? But coming into that game, the Bills were playing bad on offense. And the Bengals defense did what I'm saying that they always do. Is anytime that there's time to go make a real big play in a big spot to like close somebody out or go finish it out, they don't make that play. And it doesn't mean in its totality they're giving up 8,000 yards, but it's the confidence, it's the mentality. It matches our fan base. Our fan base is like, yeah, Joe Burrow gonna go to Rams. He's gonna force a quit. They're already thinking the worst case scenario. People in the comment section thinking the worst case scenario. The players that on defense, they thinking the worst case scenario in all of those scenarios is like, damn, what if I give up this touchdown? Like they give it up every single time that it's time to go make that play. Not that they suck on every single play. They're going to give up that play. And I think that when it was time to go make the play to end them, when it was 14-3, they couldn't get them off the field. When it was time on a 4th down, right, they couldn't get them off the field twice. Then they come back with another 4th down later in the game. They couldn't get them off the field. They stopped them one time on 4th down. But those are the moments when people talk to us about 2021, it's not that the Bengals were a top 10 defense. The Bengals not only were getting turnovers with guys like Jesse Bates and company, but Mike Hilton's of the world and all these guys like Von Bell and everybody, they all were making plays at opportune times, and that's what made them good. It's like when Jermaine Pratt in the Raiders game, whatever, like they made play. The Bengals were never ranked higher than 17th on defense, but what do ops tell us about the Burrow in the playoffs? They always be like, oh, the defense carried you to a Super Bowl. Like the defense wasn't an amazing defense. It was a top 17 defense. But what they did was make plays in those moments. And the problem with the Bengals is that their defense is too reliant on those turnovers. I need stops. And they don't give me stops enough when I need those stops. They did on Thanksgiving. I think if Lamar's running – I think if he's running like how he ran,
they did give you a stop though. That's my only pushback. They did give you a stop.
Give me enough
at the end of the 3rd quarter, right?
Like about the end of the game.
So 3rd quarter,
3rd and 15, you couldn't stop them.
3rd quarter, the Bills have that 5-minute drive. Right, it's 21-18. Bengals offense comes out 3 plays, negative 3 yards, only takes a minute off the clock. It's 21-18. You give the ball back to the Bills. In that one where the Bills could take the lead and do all of that, they got the fumble. They got 2 fumbles. Because remember, one of them went out of the end zone, and then they were like, nah, it wasn't this and that. Then they got the fumble. Guess what happens? Because gives the ball back to the offense, and then they go up. The offense goes right down in the 4th quarter, 7-minute drive. They go up 28-18. They go up 20. So I get what you're saying, but I feel like in that game, that was the one moment. Now, could they do it twice or 3 times? I don't know.
What about 3rd and 15 at the end of the game? Give the ball back to Burrow. Let's go get Burrow back out there. We got a minute and 40. It's 3rd and 15. All you gotta do is tackle my boy in front of the chains.
It's Josh Allen, bro. It's Josh Allen. I'm just, if it was that so have we never seen?
Maybe I don't. You know what it is? I don't respect Josh Allen the same way that the NFL respects him. I think he's a really good quarterback. I just don't respect him.
I think that's what he does. Like I think
I was more scared of this. I was more scared of this game in terms of who I think is a bigger threat. I'm to the because this is the weird thing that always happens with us. We always like, man, we're gonna catch them while they down. We're gonna get like we thought that against the Steelers that second time, time. It's like every time that I do that, they always come and sell, bro. Like, and maybe that's what's in the back of my mind where I get it. Where I'm operating out of a loser mentality because I'm just waiting for it. It seems like the Ravens are like cooked. But in my mind, I was watching him run, and I was like,
do you think Lamar? We had a conversation, and I've always told you I've got Josh Allen over Lamar because Josh Allen has those moments. He has those moments in the clutch where he does things like that, and Lamar, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him do it.
He do. I'm not about to be. Hey, what you're not going to do is get me over Cincinnati in here caping for Lamar. Not happening. That's not happening, sir. No, sir. I will not participate in that. But
nah, for sure. But
that conversation go either way. Like I'm not mad. Lamar. Like neither one of them are better than 9 to me.
Yeah, exactly.
The only person that's in a conversation with 9 is the hardware and the clutch moments, and when he is on Pat Mahomes, is that guy in this league.
For sure.
All these other dudes, if you put Burrow on the current Ravens right now, we'd be talking about winning out, cooking up, whatever. Like if he had just an average defense like that, cooking. I'm going to the bowl. I'm going to the bowl. I
got Burrow over everybody, man. But so we don't get too distracted. Back to because I know we gotta do a quick show. Obviously, I want to see if T. Higgins is back this week, but Jamar Chase, I think we just saw this Steelers offense that's not the most potent. It really was just DK Metcalf for sure by itself. Just cooked this Ravens defense. I don't think they want to see Jamar Chase right now, bro. I don't think that they want to see Mike Gesicki. I don't think they want to see Joe Burrow, as you stated, was willing and dealing that first game. I just think that the Ravens are going to have a hard time stopping the Bengals offense. And I think you got a pissed off Joe Burrow. It's his birthday week. Yeah, I don't know. You got a Ravens team
going crazy. That's another thing. I will get behind your take on this. Mm-hmm. All these people that's talking about some Burrow wants to leave and stuff. Yeah, all right. Watch Sunday. I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't confuse disappointment of losing with the desire that this dude is gonna have to win. That is the one thing. Bro about to come out there going crazy. And let me say this. T. Higgins also helmet on, gotta go through protocol. Maybe might not play. I don't know. But if he play, slaughter.
Yeah, because T. Higgins didn't play in the first game. I'm
dropping 40.
Jamar and him and Gesicki. Like, yeah, bro. Good luck. My GOAT losing his fire. This is a super chat that I'm reading. We need real change or trade him. I want him to reach his full potential. Had a Rams sell their future and build a contender before us. The organization is cooked. Look, this is what I'm gonna say, man. I don't know why the
I
hell
agree
y'all
with
would
some.
want to send him to the Rams, like literally the team
That's nasty.
that's disgusting. I do think we do need real change. I don't think that we should trade Joe Burrow. I don't think that should ever be
No, I don't
even
think he's
discussed.
saying that.
Like,
Though. I don't think he's saying that.
yeah. Of course, we want him to reach his full potential, but I think that his full potential. I feel like this, man, because even though Matthew Stafford has his ring or whatever, like it's on the Rams, you don't feel like it would have been meant way more if he did that in Detroit. Like, I want to
Facts.
see Burrow bring the ring to Cincinnati because not everybody can say anybody can say, "Oh, I went to the Rams and got this loaded team and did this." And he did play that well in the Super Bowl. I know people are gonna be like, "You a hater," but like, I don't really think dude really played
He
that
didn't
well
play
in the
that
Super
good.
Bowl.
Them picks was not playing well, and that bro, he had like we had 5 straight. I'm not talking Super Bowl. All right, but can I say this?
Yeah.
Knowing what we know about Joe Burrow, this the craziest thing on the internet to me is of all teams to name, right? Sometimes I see Dolphins. I always talk. I think, maybe Joe, gets a little older, like, later on in his career. I could see going to a nice scenery. He's Joe Cool, getting maybe he's not married at that point. Maybe something like that, right? Mm-hmm. But the one that I couldn't see, and that's an organization that doesn't win shit either. So, like, for people, I don't know. All right, but the Rams, like, Kevin Durant level, like, Joe Burrow's not like that. All these people saying the Rams or something like that, of all the teams, you're going to go to the team that packs you out? Not happening. 9 is not like that. 9 is not built like that. That will never happen in a trade scenario. The only scenario that happens is something happens to his career altering and nobody wants him or something like that, something wild like that. There's no scenario.
Trading Joe Burrow makes absolutely zero sense. Like, you're not gonna trade Joe Burrow and get better. Like, you got to.
I give you 9 first round picks. You taking the deal?
Nah, no, because there's no guarantee that I'm drafting Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is gonna be.
He's untradeable.
To me, he's. It's like having the best quarterback in the league. It's like if you had SGA right now, would you trade 9 first round picks? Would you trade SGA for 9 first round picks? No, absolutely not.
No, I hate SGA, but I'm not trade. He's untradeable. Some guys are untradeable. Josh Allen is untradeable. I think I'm gonna tell you. I think Lamar Jackson is tradable.
I think I don't know. I think Lamar's around that territory as well. I think he's around that territory.
I think his impact on the city and stuff is probably super, super high, where they would probably disagree with me. But I think the uniqueness of his fans is a lot of his fans just don't care more so about the organization. I think they more so care about him. And I think that him landing in like a metropolitan area, like, I don't, or let's say it's like New Orleans or something, like a city that would just embrace him. I don't think that many people would be mad if they didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, on his side. Cincinnati, though,
if he wasn't an elite quarterback, sure. Like, if he's not in that elite tier, like if he's like Kirk Cousins, you know what I mean? Like Jalen Hurts, like, yeah, you would see. That's the difference between Shiesty and Jalen Hurts. I think the Eagles fans would consider trading Jalen Hurts for the right opportunity.
Damn right they would.
It's not. They'd be like, damn, let me go ahead and do that. But when you have an elite guy, you know how hard it is to get an elite guy.
Ooh, I got one for you.
What's up?
Perfect. Howie Roseman's cooking. Howie Roseman's cooking up. He's sending you Jalen Hurts.
Oh my God.
He's sending you Jalen.
About to say. You know who I'm gonna
say.
Still
He's sending you Jalen Hurts. He's sending you Jalen Carter. He's sending you Jordan Davis. He's sending you all of them people that you know what I'm saying. Yep. So you're gonna have the stacked perfect roster that everybody wants, and he's giving you a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Still no.
Okay.
Still no for me. No, Jalen Hurts. Nah, I'm in the
But
minority
he's gonna give everybody the perfect defense.
I'm in the minority of people that agree with Cam Newton on his assessment of Jalen Hurts. I'm with that crowd, and he's looking right, by the way.
What do you know? Well, that goes to one of my points that I want to say is that a lot of us operate like. Let me tell you something. When you pay somebody $55 million in a boatload of his guaranteed, I don't know about y'all, but I'm understanding that there's going to be a couple flaws, a couple holes like here and there on the roster. Just being realistic.
Right. That's real.
Remember, every op told us like, y'all ain't going to be able to keep all them wide receivers when y'all got to pay Joe Burrow. We did that, right? But the realistic point of it is that once you do that, a lot of people are operating out of a prism to make this team like we're surrounding Andy Dalton. The other reality of what having Joe Burrow for me is that I don't feel like I gotta have a perfect roster. Like for me, that's just something inside of my mind, and I think that's why when you see somebody talking about Joe Burrow throwing the picks and everything like that, they're not saying that it's his fault, but I think they're acknowledging how important he is and how acknowledging you don't have to coddle Joe Burrow because he's that much better than all of these other players. And so sometimes when we're creating these rosters and everything, like I was just talking about Shamar Stewart, him being a rotational first round edge is not a bad proposition. But when Trey Hendrickson goes down, everybody's like, how could you do this to our defense? It's horrible. You know, like to me, you're not being realistic because how many teams in the NFL can boast that they have 2 first-round edges as rotational pieces? Not that many exist. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have Highsmith and all these dudes. They have a nice little rotation, Herbig and all that. But that's the highest paid defense in the NFL. So when you're talking about that or comparing it to the Steelers or the Eagles, right? That's the highest paid defense with the Steelers. And then the Eagles is the best GM in all of football. So when you're talking about constructing a team, realistically, you know that that's a hard proposition to go and create. But I think a lot of us are creating these things, and I'm guilty of it too, where we're creating this team like he's Andy Dalton. And that's not realistic. If you're really paying attention to the landscape of football and you're really paying attention, like look at the Bills right now. That's a great example. What on their team makes you feel like that makes them so elite? Like who are the players? Like who is their Trey Hendrickson? Who is their Jamar Chase? Who and the reason why and their shitty GM that try to cook us, he'll be the first one to tell you, like, once I pay Josh, you're not gonna get Diggs. You're not gonna get, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get that. I went out there, I gave y'all Von Miller, which y'all not happy. You know what I'm saying? Them boys got old ass Tre'Davious White, low key kind of journeyman out there playing CB2. They got a rookie in Maxwell Harrison playing CB2 rotational. Like, that's their team. So why is everybody treating the Bengals like they got to give Joe Burrow every single thing? That's the thing that, like, I get it. You're in the window. You're like, yeah, let's go win now. You know what win now looks like too? The Colts running out, giving up 2 first-round picks. If the Bengals did that, you'd be so cooked right now and so mad that they gave up 2 first-round picks, and now Sauce Gardner's hurt, and now Tre'Davious Ward is now got a concussion. So now they're down to some dude named Edwards you never even heard of as their CB1. That's the realities of going all in. But none of our Bengals influencers, if I do it, I get called a homer, but none of our influencers ever explore that. None of these dudes, after the game is over, and they make these videos to get views and heat up off of your angst and how you're feeling down about your team. None of them ever come back and give you content to really explore what all in looks like. I'm not saying I'm not in favor of all in. I like to do it a very unique way. But why we're not talking about the Colts right now? Like, the Colts are cooked. They got a 44-year-old quarterback out there. That's all in. Sure. It could look like that.
Vape guy here says Barrett Carter is a joke. I miss Burfict so much. Yeah, man. I mean, Barrett Carter, the one thing I'll say is Barrett Carter has no business being on the field right now as a rookie. I mean, when you looked at him as a prospect, he was a guy that was developmental. So there's going to be some growing pains with him being out there. Hopefully that changes next season. But this is one thing that I would say now. I am not hinging the future of this defense on these linebackers that we currently have taking that step. Like, they're not going to keep me from signing a linebacker. They're not going to keep me from drafting a linebacker. So we'll see what happens going forward. Before we get up out of here, we got to toss it to our good folks over at Midwest Best Barbecue.
Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. They was them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. And much love to Mama T, Uno and CTB. MB's got Bengals wings, and now we just added T's. 9 to 5 winning things. Gritty for Uno wings. We say yes, Sirski now. Like Aces and be saying that T got them new wings. Only at MB's. Honey lemon peppers. Now you can call them T's. Honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins. Or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins. Or you say number 5.
That was nice. I ain't gonna lie.
Shout out to Midwest Best Barbecue 669, Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. Don't forget that they've got those special holiday meals coming up. You can go ahead and pre-order those. They have cheese trays. They got all kind of food trays, stuff like that. So if you don't want to cook for the holidays, they got you covered. Make sure that you stop in and let them know Ace and Zim sent you. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Winston-Natty Podcast. Make sure that you follow us at Winston-Natty Pod on Twitter, at Zim Hude on Twitter, at New Stripe City. We appreciate y'all, and we will see you guys next week.
Coming up
on the Winston-Natty Podcast.
Hello, world. Winston-Natty. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.